Yes, we are back. Chase and Allen are back to talk about some MMA. This is the MMA podcast featuring Chase and Allen, where we discuss things all MMA, UFC, Strikeforce, Invicta. Oh, the Strikeforce doesn't exist anymore. You know what? I'm living in the past. I miss Strikeforce. Bellator. We talk all MMA on here. Allen, how's it going, my man?
Dude, it is a hectic day. Crazy stuff
Oh,
went down.
Oh yeah, hectic day. Now, normally we recap a lot of the UFC events, but we've kind of been slow on the podcast, and that's just me and Alan can't really getting our times right. We were going to do one on Friday that was going to be uploaded Saturday for you guys, but then my internet was like, LMAO, Chase, pay your bill, and I was like, wait, I already paid my bill though, and my internet was out for that Friday, so we couldn't get it done Friday. I'm actually glad that we're filming this on a Monday. By the way, this will be uploaded Wednesday for all you guys, for anyone who's wondering. But, you know, I'm glad we're doing this on a Monday because this Monday has just been crazy with fucking news. So should we just talk about the craziness that happened that kicked off this fine Monday morning or Monday afternoon?
Yeah, I guess in LA it was morning, but yeah, Jon Jones, as we know, well, they've been done podcast so long, so basically, obviously, Gustafson's out.
Yes, Alexander Gustafsson, who was supposed to face Jon Jones at UFC 178. Remember, guys, UFC was building up this big thing. UFC 177 and 178, two straight pay-per-views, two straight title rematches. This was one of their big draws that they were going to do with the next two pay-per-views, especially with 176 being canceled. So they were going to build up this whole rematch thing. Sadly, Gustafsson got hurt. The injury bug hit him, but now I'm glad Gustafsson got hurt because we want to get great shit like we're getting with Daniel Cormier and Jon Jones with Gustafsson.
Yeah, a lot of people believe that there was going to be a spike of interest in terms of with Cormier and Jones because they've had issues for years now, going back to the MMA awards in 2011. So basically, a lot of people were excited for this, and what happened today was pretty insane. I don't think there's ever been a brawl like that. I know, like,
there's been shoves and shit like that, but never a brawl.
Ken Shamrock picked up a chair and was going to hit Tito with it, but that didn't happen. But I think Ken Tito was like the closest to being a brawl. And there's just been shoves and whatever. I think Vanderlei and Bisbing, there was a shove.
Yeah, nose to nose crap. There's always been stuff like that. But at the UFC,
Rampage and Vanderlei, sorry.
Yeah, Rampage and Vanderlei. At the UFC 178 media day, pretty much they do these media days where they get all the fighters going just to hype up the fight. They go to the area they're going to be at, and they just talk about what they're training and all that other stuff, like how excited they are for the fight, how big this event. It's just to hype up the event. They do these all the time. You either see them or you don't. And so, really, to be honest, it was just another media day, doing the same old business, ask the questions, two main fights, blah, blah, blah. All of a sudden, it's time for the stare down with Jon Jones and Daniel Cormier. Daniel Cormier wastes no fucking time, pushes Jon Jones. Jon Jones goes and gets into a hissy fit about this and just starts laying it in on Cormier. Cormier and Jones are brawling. This leads to security, like, just fucking flying all over the place. And then fucking, I believe it was like a security guard pushed Cormier back into like the the little banner, push Cormier back into the little banner. That shit falls, and Jones literally rips off security, and Cormier and Jones were like brawling. Like, Jones was on top of Cormier, beating the crap out of him, and Cormier was like hitting punches from the bottom. And security finally like separated it, calmed down the situation. Jon Jones gets onto the stage, starts fucking screaming like he's hyped up for this shit. And, you could tell, man, these two just hate each other. And that shit was crazy, man. Like, I don't care what anyone says. Oh, it's bad for the sport. You can't be doing this. This is a fucking fighting industry. This ain't the fucking NFL. This ain't fucking, basketball. This is a fighting sport, man. And when you have two guys who hate each other, this is what they should be like. You say what you want, keep it professional and whatnot. But this gets you more hyped up, and I cannot wait till these guys get into the cage because that's just going to be emotions flowing the whole fucking time.
Genuine. You could see it. Jones went to go put his head into Cormier. It's interesting because it's from Jon Jones stare downs in the past. He doesn't look at his opponent. He looks the other way. There's an infamous one with Rampage where he looks the other way, and Rampage looks the same way as he does, and he's like waving to his opponent's face. But this is the first time Jon Jones really got in somebody's face, and that's how you know this is personal with Cormier. And Cormier wasn't having enough of it. I don't know who's at fault there. Obviously, Cormier.
I think it was Cormier. It was Cormier. Cormier started because that was no friendly shove. That was no fucking personal, like, hey, I'm gonna beat you up shove. That was like a legit, like, fuck you, dog, I'm gonna kill you shove. Like, that was not like, because most shoves, normally it's with the shoulder, like, you shove with the shoulder type of deal, or you get up into their grill and stuff like that. But that was just straight up like Daniel Cormier gets up in there and just pushes him like it was no big fucking deal.
Yeah, and a few things also from the brawl. Ironically, one of the main guys who stopped it was Jon Jones' manager, Malikawa, and he basically like held Cormier's hands down. After I felt like he swung at him at first watching the video, but after looking at it closely, then. And another thing is, after the ball was broken up, Cormier actually threw a shoe at Jones' way, which is pretty hilarious. You see a brown shoe flying, and at first I was like, who threw that shoe? But you can see Cormier. You don't see his hand, cocked back and ready to fling it, but you can see like he was off balance, and he just chucked it. And the last thing, and this is probably my favorite part, everything's being broke up, and Conor McGregor's taking selfie with the fans. That was Conor. Like, Conor. He's like, oh, mate, or whatever.
Conor McGregor he's like, fighting. This happens in the bars in Ireland all the time. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, you think I would? Looking at this press tour, I thought Poirier and McGregor were going to be more of an issue in terms of stare-downs, because with Jones, it's like, maybe he's not that professional, but you think Jones and Cormier, they're big-time stars, or at least Jones is, and they want to conduct themselves. I didn't think they would go that crazy. I thought, I think McGregor and Poirier, because those two are hotheads. But, man, and another thing, which I'm kind of jealous about, that press tour was supposed to come to New York, but they decided to go LA and Vegas, so I'm a little bitter about that. If I was there for that, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I could tell that shit was in Vegas, because, like, I didn't watch the media day thing. I just heard that, like, they got into a fucking fight. And I was just like, what? And then I was like, man, were they in the MGM? Because, like, I've been to Vegas so many times. I know what the MGM looks like. I'm like,
they were tomorrow.
Huh?
They're coming to LA tomorrow. I think Jones Cormier have to do a sit-down interview together.
Oh.
Like, I don't know what's going to happen. Like, it's just so awkward. But
yeah.
And I know some people are saying, oh, this is a work. Man,
this is not a work, because this has been going on, like you said, since the MMA Awards in 2011, where, apparently Cormier's guy was trying to get Jon Jones, and Jon Jones said, I wouldn't want to be a part of anything with DC. And then these guys have been taking shots and shots at each other ever since. Like, Cormier always saying, like, oh, Jones, he fears me. He can't wrestle with me. He's never faced a wrestler of my level. And then Jones saying, like, I don't think Cormier takes his diet too seriously. He would never be able to be a contender for me because he's always so fat. So it was just like, Cormier, he has a hot head. Like, I like DC and all, but, let's not forget, Cormier has gone through some really troubling times in his life, losing his daughter and everything. And so, like, when, like, you got to think, like, he's not that stable. Like, he's someone that will snap at a dime. And, it's just been years and years of these guys just fucking taking shots at each other. Finally, like, you get this stare down. Cormier is saying, you know what, I'm going to show this guy I'm for real. And he just goes and pushes him, saying, like, what now? What are you going to do about it? Oh, yeah, nothing. And Jones just said, you know what, I'm going to fucking respond. So this was not scripted, fake, staged, or anything like that. There's no way you can stage something like this, man. That they looked like they were actually fighting. Because, like, if it was staged, the punches would look fake as fuck.
You saw Jones throw that left hand.
Yeah, dude. When they were in the fucking, when Jones was on, you can barely see when Jones is on top of Cormier. But those aren't fake punches. Those are real fucking punches. Because, like, if you've ever been in a fight and you're on your back, that's how you punch. You like, if this was a fake, Cormier would have gotten Jones in a triangle choke automatically. Like they would have just done a random thing where Cormier chokes out Jones, and it's like, oh my God, Cormier got the better of Jones. This is like the fight that you have to see. It's like, that's when you know it would be fake. But when it comes down to real, that shit was real, because they weren't trying to do any of their submission crap. They were trying to, like, beat the shit out of each other with the punches and shit.
Exactly, man. I don't know. It's still like 6 weeks away. I don't know what else they could do to build this up. But, man, this is just... It's a massive. And that pay-per-view just in general, 178, that's like a really, really good card all around.
Oh, yeah. And not to mention, like, and this is not a race thing, but when it comes down to it, and I've noticed with my friends who are casual MMA fans, they like it when they see two black people fighting. And the thing is, because black people draw interest because they don't give a shit and they just talk shit. Rashad Evans versus Rampage Jackson. No belt on the line, but my friends wanted to see that fight. Jones versus Jackson. No belt on the line, but they wanted to see that. Belt on the line, but they didn't give a shit about that. They just wanted to see these guys talk shit to each other. And then Jones versus Evans. Oh, everyone wanted to see that fucking fight. That was the fight. That was like the huge black on black crime fight. So we're going to see some black on black crime. And I know that people are gonna be like, that's racist and all, but it's true. Like, it's more interesting when you see two black people talking shit to each other. Like that draws interest, and especially because they have beef and stuff like that. So it's very interesting. This is going to be one of the best build-ups to a fight, and I can't wait for that fight. That fight has been the fight I've been wanting to see for Jones, because I think Cormier is one of the guys that can test Jones, because I think Cormier has better wrestling than Jon Jones. Jon Jones in his last two fights has not impressed me with his wrestling setups for his takedowns, or his takedowns in general. I haven't been impressed with him. Like Glover for the first 3 rounds was doing really well until Glover got gassed, and Gustafsson he out wrestled Jones that fight. So I'm excited for that one.
Jones is fighting bigger guys too. Teixeira and Gustafsson are bigger guys. Cormier, while he's short in stature, this guy's beating top heavyweights. That's what if people are like, oh man, I don't know if Cormier could solve the reach. I'm like, you see him slam heavyweights, man. Go watch that Josh Barnett fight. Watch how he picked apart Bigfoot Silva. It's weird. People used to make fun of Strikeforce for their one-dimensional matchups. Like it'd be like a stud against like a pushover. The thing is, man, Strikeforce has done better with Cormier than UFC has. You look at Cormier's UFC fights, Mir, Nelson, Cummins, and Hendo. Those pretty much are pushovers. While at Strikeforce, he had to face likes of Barnett and Silva. It's kind of interesting how that worked out. But he has experience against heavyweights. He's been beating some of the best. Like, if he was a heavyweight right now, he'd be top 3.
And also he trains with the best heavyweight fighter in the world, in Cain Velasquez. So like, I don't get where this reach problem is the thing, because like, if I'm not mistaken, doesn't Velasquez have almost like the same reach as Jon Jones does, like 81 inches, and Jones is like 82, 83?
Look that up right now, but yeah,
he's because heavyweight Jones just has a heavyweight's reach, so he knows how to fight against heavyweights, man.
It'll be interesting. Well, he has Cain. Jon Jones is training with the podcast's favorite, Alistair Overeem.
Yes.
Jackson now.
Don't worry. I already got a game plan for Jon Jones. I told him to hit him with the knee in the stomach, and then afterwards put your hands down and not fight. As long as there's no front kicks, you should be fine. And yeah, I told him that. And we're going to eat horses after the show. Like, Alistair Overeem knows what he's doing.
Cain's reach is only 77.
Oh, wow. I thought it was like in the 80s, because he has a nice reach.
I just want I'm going to quickly look up Bigfoot Silva's reach, because I know Bigfoot's very athletic. And that was Cormier's, Bigfoot Silva, 82 inch reach.
Yeah, so I don't think the reach... I don't think the reach is that big of a problem then, if because he knocked the fuck out of Bigfoot Silva.
And that was after Bigfoot beat Fedor, and everyone was like, "Oh my God, Bigfoot, this guy's gonna take over." But Cormier knocked him out in like 3 minutes. This guy, he's legit, and I'm probably gonna make a prediction, literally probably like the night before, because this is I'm gonna watch both fighters like with their past 5 fights.
I'm not gonna lie, I haven't watched a countdown in the longest time for the UFC. Just mainly because countdowns have been boring to me. But I'm watching that Jon Jones and Daniel Cormier, and of course the fight of the fucking century, which we will talk about later on, because that's the main event of this podcast. Do not get this question, folks. It's the fight of the fucking century. I'm already titling that, because me and Alan, if you guys have been longtime fans, we have been saying this fight for the last 3 fucking episodes, and finally the UFC is giving it to us.
Yeah. Let's talk about the Fox show. I know.
Let's talk about the Fox show. Robbie Lawler taking on Immortal Matt Brown. That fight was fucking sick, man. I enjoyed that fucking fight, dude.
Yeah, I know some people are like, I kind of fell a little below expectations. You gotta understand, in a 5-round fight, there's gonna be rounds where
they're gonna be tired.
Like you watch Jones Gustafsson, it's not like every round was action packed.
Yeah.
The reason why that fight was so great is because nobody expected much from Gustafsson. Well, this fight they expected,
way too much. But it was still a great fight. Like, that fight was crazy, man. Like, I thought, like, oh my God, the first 2 rounds were my favorite 2 rounds that I've seen in a while from the UFC, man.
Mm-hmm. That first round, oh man, I think that's maybe that's why people were a little bummed out at the end. But I thought the 5th round was just good. Matt Brown looked a little gassed, which is kind of interesting because he's known to have pretty good cardio. But this is his first 5-round fight. But man, Robbie Lawler's he's just really morphed into this complete fighter where when he got taken down, he was still fine. It's crazy. Just whenever he gets taken down, he like laughs now. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
Thing about Robbie Lawler.
Yeah, dude. I was surprised that Matt Brown didn't get in trouble for not making weight. He didn't get a pay cut or anything.
He missed he missed by a pound. But yeah, he didn't get in trouble. There's some weird San Jose commission. I don't know what totally happened, but basically it told him don't cut any more weight or something. It's a weird case. The thing was with Matt Brown, like, he's not really a big welterweight. He's not like a Hector Lombard or Tyron Woodley.
Yeah, so it was weird that he didn't get in trouble because, like, even it's like just a half pound, I felt like, Dana would just like slap him on the wrist and say like, hey man, you should have lost the weight. Now you're gonna lose a little bit of your pay, but he didn't lose anything. But yeah, no, this fight was great. Like, I don't care what anyone says. I had fun watching this fight because, like, even when they were fucking dead shit tired, man, they were still getting rocked by some of those punches and kicks, and I thought one of these guys was just gonna fall down, but. That fight was just fun, dude. Like, that's a fun fight. That was just a fun fight. Not fight of the year for definitely not fight of the year, but it was definitely just like it was definitely a great fucking fight for me.
Lawler's left body kick, and that's where Matt Brown was susceptible to because Matt Brown got dropped by Eric Silva, and he got dropped by Jordan Mean. Like, the body shots, a lot of people talk about Matt Brown being vulnerable body shots, but Lawler hit that left body kick. I was like, oh, this is over. But Matt Brown just so relentless, and I don't know what they're going to do with him, but man, if I'm Joe Silva, I'm saving him till whenever Condit's healthy because Matt Brown, Carlos Condit, we were supposed to get that, I think, last year, and boy, who wouldn't say no to that fight?
That would be a great fight between those two.
They'd just be both just going out with each other. And the two of the slimmer welterweight. I feel like the welterweight division, as great as it is, I feel like all these guys now are just these big, muscle up, like, just monsters.
Yeah, they're yokes. They're yoked, man. They're like huge guys.
Long and rangy, like Rory and Stun Gun Kim. Like Carlos Condit and Matt Brown, like the only welterweight. Oh, besides our hero, who we'll talk about later. But those are the only welterweights that are like, regular size compared to these monsters.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I totally agree. But now Robbie Lawler, he's moving on to face off and once again to face off against Johnny Hendricks, where he was pretty much close to winning if it wasn't for that last takedown. I still cry watching that fight, seeing Lawler get taken down in the 5th round. I'm like, no, Robbie, you're going to win. Like, he was so close to winning that fight too, and I felt so bad for Robbie. Even though I was rooting for Hendricks just because Hendricks got screwed, quote unquote, by GSP, even though he got screwed in that situation, and I was rooting for Hendricks to win the belt, I was really wanting Robbie because here's a guy that I've been seeing since like the good old days of UFC, when UFC was like the blood sport and all that other crap. Here is this 24-year-old Robbie Lawler that I first watched, and now he's like in his like prime of his fucking career, kicking ass, taking names, revamped himself since Strikeforce, and just has gone through a time machine. Like this guy, dude, like has just been impressive, man. And I'm happy that he's getting a title shot, man. And him and Hendricks will put on a great title fight again, man. Because Robbie Lawler, the thing about him is, it doesn't matter how long he goes, he's always entertaining. It doesn't matter if he doesn't finish his opponent. He always puts on great, entertaining fights. Ever since he's come back to the UFC, there hasn't been a bad Robbie Lawler fight. I would want you guys to tell me what is the worst Robbie Lawler fight, because you can't find one. This guy has been putting on the greatest fights since coming back to the UFC. There has not been one bad fight in Robbie Lawler's fucking career since coming back to the UFC.
I just love it that he's a fighter that doesn't need to talk. He does it by performance. It's a rare breed of fighters these days that really are appreciated by fans and just by their ability, and it's beautiful. And I think what the UFC might do, and I really hope they do this, because we're probably going to have to see, the garbage Rousey-Gina Carano matchup, but they put that on the same card as Hendricks Lawler, that'll work for me. We can have another classic fight, and then we'll have the 2-minute squash match, whatever. So,
yeah, exactly.
I think I'm looking at January 3rd. I think it's going to be Lawler, Hendricks, Coleman, and Rousey Carano. But you know what? Fine, I guess, because they're going to have to put Gina in there, whatever.
Yeah.
At least a compelling co-main event. And in fact, it's going to be a title fight, count me in, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, exactly. Because, like I'm saying, Robbie Lawler and Matt Brown, they put on a great fight. You guys got to see this fight. Robbie Lawler is one of my favorite. Like, I always liked ruthless Robbie Lawler, but never was a huge fan. But he's just made me into a fucking fan. Just because, like you said, his overall skill set has just been fucking amazing. One of the weakest things. Like, he's a guy that keeps improving. Like, I always talk about, some of these fighters, they don't improve on fucking anything. They stick to their one game plan. Robbie Lawler, like, after that Jake Shields fight, ever since then, man, his wrestling has just been amazing. Takedown defenses. Like you said, he laughs now when he gets taken down because he gets up right away. His ground when he's on his back, He does fucking awesome on his back. This guy has just been improving and improving every single time, and like that's just scary, man. Like so. I just wish the best for Robbie Lawler in his rematch with Johnny Hendricks because that will be a great fight. And like you said, Matt Brown, save him for Carlos Condit. That'll be a good fight for him. Now let's also talk about other fights on the card. Anthony Johnson, Rumble Johnson, he's back with full force. He is, oh my God, it's crazy that this guy used to be a fucking welterweight. Now he's fighting.
What, Dan Hardy like 4 years ago? Like, how is that possible? This guy fighting Dan Hardy, like, what? You know, man.
Yeah.
Then he fought Orlovsky like a year ago. He's just insane. But you gotta love him.
Yeah, Anthony Rumble Johnson has just been insane, and I'm saying this now, Alan. If like I'm just saying, if Jones retains, and you want to bring Gus back, bring him back against Rumble. I don't care how much this Jones Gustafson match has been waiting to see. Rumble Johnson deserves a chance at seeing if he's a title contender because this guy has just been killing. You know.
So you want to see Gus against Rumble?
Yeah.
You see, UFC, their new mind says they want to kill two contenders. You know, they want to have. The thing is, this is the issue. Like the 205 division, the top is just so elite, and then like after the top 5 is just dead. Like, sadly, what I think they're gonna do is they're gonna give Rumble the winner of Ryan Bader against St. Preux.
Oh, he's gonna kill whoever. He faces St. Preux. St. Preux better be fucking taking his vitamins. Find some HGH. Find some illegal supplements because he ain't gonna beat Rumble Johnson. And Ryan Bader, Darth Bader will get knocked out. Darth Bader will come out to that stupid Star Wars theme, boom, and just get knocked the fuck out by Rumble Johnson.
Fighters are gonna get a title shot by knocking out Ryan Bader. I just feel like we got Jones. I think submitted him or knocked him out.
Submitted.
Glover knocked him out. Vegeta knocked him out. Vegeta was supposed to get a title shot, but Chael Sonnen came and it was all over. But the fact is, man, Ryan Bader's just such a gatekeeper. It's like, do we have to go through this again? That Rumble Johnson, knocked out Ryan Bader.
Let's not also forget Tito was close to getting the title shot because remember he knocked out Bader and beat him, and that was the big Tito win that everyone was surprised about. And then Tito faced Rashad for the #1 contendership.
That is true, man. Jesus, I forgot about that guillotine. Jesus Christ. But it's just, man, the light heavyweight division is just so lackluster after, obviously Jones, Cormier, Gustafson, and Rumble, and Rashad's up there, but they're teammates, and they're not going to fight each other. So I feel like, man, it's probably a mismatch, and he's probably going to knock down a few minutes, but at this point, man, I'd rather just see Rumble against, like, Shogun.
Yeah.
If you want to do it. But then again, Shogun will probably get obliterated. Like, that matchup with Lil Naga, that just had knockout written all over.
Actually, Rumble Shogun, yeah, that's actually a decent. I like that. I would see that.
Just because, like, I rate Shogun higher than Bader and then OSP. OSP's being nobody. Like he has potential, but he's like already 31. The only time I think he faced Musasi and he got dominated in that fight. Like he's faced a bunch of scrubs. Let's face it. He beats Bader, then okay, but it's unfortunate the light heavyweight division is just so not abysmal, but like their depth is just lacking, and the UFC's not getting much contenders. I would have loved to see Rumble against Glover, but they didn't want to do that. I think they're doing Glover against Phil Davis.
Oh God, man! What do you want to like put people to sleep or something? Like
Glover, I had at least somewhat exciting.
Phil Davis.
But man, Lil Nog yet coming off a year layoff. He has the back issues. We knew he was gonna be slow, and we're talking about his boxing, but I don't care how good you are as a boxer. When you have speed like that, it doesn't matter.
This guy is probably one of the biggest busts in the UFC history, man. Like they finally signed Little Nog. Big Nog gets him over to the UFC. He debuts at the Rampage versus Evans card. I believe that's when he debuted. And then later on, it was just like, he hasn't performed to the level that they wanted him to because like they were expecting like, oh, not only do we have the Big Nog in the heavyweight division, we have Little Nog in the light heavyweight division. This guy is really good, and Little Nog has just been disappointing.
He debuted on the Tito Forest 2 card.
Okay, he debuted on that one. I thought he debuted Rampage Evans card.
He did fight on that card. He got a split decision against Jason Brills.
Oh God.
Yeah, I don't know. Nogueira is kind of disappointing, but
Yeah.
it was just such a big mismatch. Now people are saying, man, just do Nogueira against Shogun in Brazil, El Salvador, that'd be cool. Just want to have a random brawl. I mean, think about it. Shogun against Dan Henderson was just like a random fight. So
Yeah, why not? Why not do it? All right, let's also talk about some featherweights. Dennis Bermudez is going to be the next Jose Aldo of the fucking featherweight division once Jose Aldo decides to leave it, because this kid is fucking
I like
phenomenal. This kid is
I like
phenomenal. He's phenomenal, man.
it's
Wait, what were you gonna say?
it's just unfortunate that he's been on the prelims for like 6 fights in a row. He won. He was finally on the main card, and just crazy. Clay Pita usually wins by obviously his pace and just being relentless, but Bermudez was having 900. He was ragdolling.
Yeah, dude, Berman Nunes. Like, I saw this guy and I'm just like, damn, dude, he's the next Jose Aldo. That guy's gonna wreck shop once Jose Aldo leaves that featherweight division. Like, no one's gonna beat this kid. And
You're
so,
really disconvinced, damn.
yeah, dude, this guy. Hey, I said the same thing with Jose Aldo when I saw him. I was like, man, this guy's gonna ruin the featherweight division once Faber leaves, and then he ruined Faber. I'm convinced this guy has potential, man. He's just a beast, dude. And Quinn Guida, I was laughing after he lost and he tapped out. He just got up and jogged like it was nothing. He was like, LOL. He was just like, LOL, I just lost.
I know Guida still has passion, but like I think he's just playing for a paycheck because I just think he's just around at this time. He's just a name to get people excited. People are chanting his name. It was kind of
Oh
interesting. Yeah. Damn, Clay Guida getting
He's big. He's big here in California. Remember, him and fucking Diego. I think in California had that one fight where they just were like they started off literally the fight just going into the middle of the cage, starting punching for no reason. So he's big here in California when it comes down to it. But yeah, no, I like Dennis Bermudez, man. This guy, I think he's going to be the big thing. Like, watch out for this kid. This is the guy you got to look out for. I think the only way he loses is because of a bullshit split decision. That's the only way. Speaking of bullshit split decisions, Josh Thompson.
Good segue.
Josh Thompson, I'm sorry. Second bullshit split decision for Josh Thompson. I'm sorry. How did Bobby Green win that shit? How? I did not see it. I gave Thompson the first and the second, and I understand it may have looked like Thompson was like coaching for the third, but are you fucking kidding me? Like, seriously, what did Bobby Green fucking do? He didn't do shit.
Walking a lot, he tagged him a little bit. I don't know if the stats are kind of goofy, but at the end of the day, you had basically the first round was kind of split, but Thompson clearly won the second round, and I guess third round maybe you could give it Green. I don't know. Honestly, a draw would have been cool here, but it's just you gotta feel for Josh Thompson.
Yeah.
He beat Benson, and here it's like he took no damage. And the sad part is also that they got like a screenshot of him saying, "I know I'm gonna get F here" before the announcement. I was like, "Oh man, that sucks." It's crazy. Bobby Green has potential.
Yeah, he does.
Great head movement, but sometimes, man, talking a little too much, and that fight reminded me a little bit too much of Raya Hall, John Howard, or Crow Cop Barry. Just look, I understand you guys are respectful of each other, but you gotta go after. You know what I mean? But hey, Bobby Green, he's making a name for himself, and I think he's like top 10 now. So good for him.
All right, Alan.
I would have given it to Thompson or a draw. I wouldn't have minded.
Yeah, like, I just felt bad for Thompson. I was like, oh, he's gonna win, and then all of a sudden he lost. I was like, oh wow, really? And that fucked up my predictions because I was gonna go 4-0 because I said Josh Thompson's still better about that loss with Benson, so he's going to win this fight very well. And I like I said, second round, I gave it both to Thompson, and then he was coasting for the third round because he knew he won. But Thompson should realize now, don't leave it to the judges' hands. The punk needs to fucking just finish fights.
Yeah, man. It's crazy though. Bobby Green, like I said, he's just so quick. I remember that fight against Pat Healy. He just made Pat Healy look like an amateur. He's tough to catch, but I thought Thompson was going to use more of his wrestling because he really manhandled Benson at times in that fight. But Bobby Green, very underrated. I underestimated him, and I was talking to Mark Ramundi on Wednesday. This guy writes for Fox Sports, and he said he interviewed Bobby Green. He spoke to his manager. His manager basically said, we're taking this fight just because of recognition that's on Fox and that Thompson's the top 5 guy. They had no intention of believing that Green could actually win. So Pretty skill.
Hey, that's smart, recognition. If you put on a great, like, say if like he went out there, put on a great fight with Josh Thompson, and then like you go to the cable ratings, and it's like, oh my God, so many people were watching this fight because it was so fucking great. And you look at the Twitter social score or whatever, social media outlets, and you look at the social score, and it was like Bobby Green and Josh Thompson had like this crazy fight that people were talking about, and then all of a sudden it's like. Bobby Green becomes a house if he lost, if he were to lose in a crazy ass fight, household name right there. People want to go see him more. So put him on more cards. All right, Alan, we got another card to talk about. Did you notice?
What do you mean?
Well, UFC 176. We got to talk about the card that happened this past Saturday. Did you watch UFC 176?
Oh, great card, man.
Yeah.
Great. Chad Mendes. Oh, I always was a believer.
Gegard Mousasi and Jacare, that was the craziest. Like Jacare just came charging at Gegard. You guys won't believe this, but Jacare came charging at Gegard Mousasi, and he did a La Mystica. And he fucking did a Hurricanrana into an armbar. I was marking the fuck out for that. I thought that was awesome. Gray Maynard got knocked out in 2 seconds.
Time out. You literally stole my joke. I was literally about to make a Gray Maynard joke. Damn
it. Gray Maynard, like, this is what happened, guys. Believe it or not, Gray Maynard was going to meet with Fabricio Cremos in the middle of the cage, and then he slipped and fell and knocked himself out. And it was just like, what? And we were kind of confused about that. Also, Bobby Green was also on this card, and he was on this card, and he won another split decision win. It was very, very good for him, and yeah, that's pretty much what we got from this card. It was really good. I loved it, and good for Chad Mendes, winning the featherweight title. You guys can't tell we're being sarcastic because that card did not fucking happen.
Yeah, how much longer you got?
How much longer do I got? Probably 20 more minutes.
Okay, I want to break down before the main event. We're saving the best for last.
Oh, yeah.
But some news I got. I actually finally, fortunately not the UFC, but I will finally be covering an MMA event as a media. I'm actually going to the Bellator show in September 123. And man, this is a shit show card I'm going to. So picture this. It's at the what casino? There's so many goddamn casinos. I think the Foxwoods. Oh, no, the Mohegan Sun Arena in Connecticut. Okay, so that's where I'm going. And just peep this card. We got your boy Bobby Lashley against Josh Burns.
Oh, the TNA World Heavyweight Champion Bobby Lashley, the Destroyer Lashley?
Yeah, man.
Oh.
Dude, I hope he brings the whole clique there, man.
He comes back. He comes out with MVP and Kenny Keane, and
yeah, man. I just hope he comes out the whole crew, man, and maybe he comes out to the Nation Domination theme.
No, he has to come back to the MVP theme that he has.
Oh yeah,
I'm back, baby. I'm back, stronger than ever.
He hasn't fought since the Strikeforce days.
Yeah.
Quickly, I want to see when was the last time Lashley fought. Lashley fought.
I think he fought Strikeforce. Yeah, you're right.
No, he fought in 2013 at some extreme fight night in Oklahoma.
Did he win?
Some bullshit promotion. Basically, his last Strikeforce fight was in 2010. He lost to Chad Griggs. So that tells you something. I don't know what they expect.
So who's Bobby Lashley fighting?
He's fighting this guy named Josh Burns, who doesn't have a Wikipedia page. So
he's losing.
King Mo's on the card. He's facing Tom.
Wait, TNA superstar King Mo that's protecting Dixie Carter from Bully Ray from going through a table?
Yeah, man. Look, they're stacking the deck here. They're trying to get that 1.0. I should look. I'm just happy I'm going to the event. Obviously, I always wanted to cover an event, and
yeah.
There's names on this. Chuck Congo's fighting LeVar Johnson.
Okay, Chuck Congo's not part of TNA yet. He'll be making his Impact Wrestling debut at Bound for Glory.
And then the championship fight, Pat Grant against Patricio Pitbull Pereira. So that's actually a super good fight.
Yeah, that's good. Well,
that's where I'll be going. But unfortunately, this is the same night as it's kind of like the MMA Friday Night Wars. It's like, kind of like the Monday Night Wars of wrestling. This is now like the Friday Night Wars. Basically, the UFC is going to be on the same night in Connecticut. And we'll preview this, when time comes, but I wanted to let everyone know about this. But yeah, it's going to be weird, man. I'm going to be covering a Bellator show, but I'm going to be reading the UFC results. I'm like, shit, man. I kind of want to watch these fights.
What's the event that's in Connecticut? Is it like
Dude, UFC basically told Bellator, we're gonna kick your ass.
Oh, is that the fucking huge they stacked it with like a lot of fucking fights and it was unfair to them? I think I remember. Yeah, we talked about this before. God damn.
Basically, this is the official main card now. It's John Moraga opening up against Scoggins, which is an underrated fight. Nick Lentz against Charles Oliveira. Joe Lozon's back, baby, against Michael Chiesa. Your brother Meathead Mitrione against Derek Lewis, who's a rising star. This card even got better for you. The Reem is fighting on free TV against Big Ben Rothwell, and then we got Jacare Mousasi.
Yeah,
Like, this on Fox Sports 1.
Yeah,
it's not an FU to Bellator.
No, that's a fuck you to Bellator. Screw your Spike TV. We got Fox Sports 1.
Dude, I have a feeling people could bring like I'm really looking forward to seeing like how packed is this Bellator show when I go. Like I have a feeling people might be bringing mattresses in the building.
I don't think they're gonna draw those TNA crowds. Okay, because they'll go that far.
Crazy, man. Like UFC just be like screw. Like honestly, we talk about how there's some Fox Sports 1 shows where there's maybe 1 or 2 compelling fights. There's about 5 compelling fights.
The whole main card is good, man. Like. That whole main card is fucking good. Like they're like you got your featherweight, you got your pretty much your number 1 featherweight contender, flyweight, not featherweight, excuse me, flyweight contender in John Moraga. You got the fucking Reem on there. You got Joe fucking Money Lozon. You got Meathead versus a rising. You got a heavyweight bout. That's always gonna get people interested.
Super heavyweight bouts.
And then you got Jacare versus Mousasi. Like god damn, dude. Like.
And that might be a number 1 contender. But I'm not sure because there's also rumors that in October Luke Rockhold might be facing Machida, which is a sick fight if that happens. But
that's gonna be amazing.
If that happens, then this is a number 1 contender fight. But this could very well be Chris Weidman's next challenge between Jacare and Mousasi.
Yeah, that is for sure. I think if Jacare wins, yeah, he's gonna get it. But Mousasi, if he wins, I don't know. I don't think Mousasi would get against Weidman.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. Maybe he'll have to fight Rockhold.
Yeah, like say for example, like this is how I think it would go. If Jacare wins, Mousasi loses. Okay, Jacare goes on and he faces Weidman. But if Mousasi wins and Jacare loses and Rockhold wins, you give Rockhold a shot. Because minus the Vitor spin kick, Rockhold has been Rockhold's a beast.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, before we get into main event, I just want to quickly bring this up. So we were talking about 178 before, and not the official main card, but I wanted to just talk about these fights because this card, Jesus, man, if you're a fight fan, this card just like your dream come true. We have Jones, Cormier, McGregor, obviously, but after that, we got the return. I know people are gonna make jokes. We gotta wait and see. But Dominic Cruz is scheduled to come back.
Whoa! Dominic Cruz is back
against Takeya Mizugaki, who's on a 5-win win streak, and he looked damn good against Francisco Rivera. So
that's a great fight right there.
We got Tim Kennedy against Yoel Romero, that freaking ATT Cuban monster. But that's a sick fight. Kat Zingano's making
my girl Kat.
Yeah, man, she's back. Your boy Bobby Green's on the card against Jorge.
Bobby Green, dude. Bobby Green's just at all the UFC events, is he? He was at 176 and now he's here. Like what? Is this fight carried over from 176?
Wait, what happened?
Is this Bobby Green fight? I think this fight was also scheduled for 176.
He was supposed to fight Abel Trujillo. This is he's fighting Masvidal.
Wait a minute. I'm looking at this card and I cannot believe it. You did not tell me about the greatest return of Patrick Cote.
Yo, Wonderboy Thompson, man. Oh, I love it, man. John Howard's on the raid too, man. Just every fight in this card, I'm looking like.
And the greatest heel in MMA, Brian Ebersol.
Oh, jeez, that damn chest. I'm shocked he came back. I forgot who did he get destroyed by. Like he looked really bad in his last fight. It was at the
Rick
20-year anniversary card.
Was it Rick Story?
Was it Rick Story? Yeah, it was Rick Story. How bad they look. It was on that 167 card. Oh, I'm shocked he got another chance. I guess they really like him or something. But
this is the greatest card of all time. Patrick Cote, even though we don't know if you're going to be on the prelims, but you already won a prelim heroes award.
Oh, he's definitely on the prelims, man.
He's a prelim hero. Fucking Patrick Cote. He's back.
There's so many fights on this card, and I don't think it's going to happen, but there's rumors that Don Cerrone might be fighting Eddie Alvarez on this card, but I doubt it. Because I think Bellator's going to be done with Eddie Alvarez because they know Alvarez is leaving. He has one fight left, but they're like, screw this. We don't want you winning and then taking the title. We don't want that Ben Askren situation.
God, Patrick Cote fucking being back, man. Dude, I'm sorry, man. Like, I always remember that Silva fight where he hurt his knee, and it was like, what?
Well, don't forget, man, the week before it's Japan card, and your boy, your favorite guy, Akiyama, is making his big return, too. So we have 2 big
Sin
returns
Cara?
in September. What happened?
Sin Cara's gonna fucking be fighting. I'm calling him Sin
Don't
Cara.
compare Sin Cara and Akiyama, man.
Yes, they're just fucking same to me, man.
Yo, it's Akiyama, man. By the way, Uriah Faber, man. Dude, this guy does just the randomest things. Like, he's on this Japan card, too. They're really stacking the deck in Japan. And he's fighting this guy. His name's Masarori Kanahara. This guy is making his UFC debut. I don't know who he is, but he's expected to face Faber. I think at just this point, Faber's just taking fun matchups and getting paid. This guy's like 20.
And this is not the same Japan card where Hunt and Nelson are going to go to war, right? This is a different one?
This is the same card.
Oh, it's the same card?
Yeah.
Okay, so these are just rumored matchups right now?
No, they said Faber's expected to fight him.
Okay, so Faber's so you're gonna get Hunt versus Nelson, Misha Tate versus random Japanese lady, and then possibly Faber versus random Japanese dude, and Sin Cara facing off some random American.
Kyle Noak and Miles Jury against the Fireball Kid.
Oh wow, Takanori Gomi's also back. What the fuck?
Japan, they always have great shows in Japan.
Oh yeah, I agree. I agree. Benson Edgar, that was a fucking great fight.
Yeah, man.
Great card. I have the DVD. Yeah, I buy UFC DVDs when like the card's really good. Like that's whenever I buy UFC DVDs. Like I don't normally buy UFC DVDs because of Fight Pass now. But like if the card's really good, I'm like, oh, I want to own the piece of history. So, all right, we've done enough stalling. So as you guys know, we've been saying this for 3 fucking episodes now. They need to have Nick Diaz versus Anderson Silva in a fight because 1, press conferences would be hilarious, and 2, that fight would just be amazing. And it was reported Nick Diaz returned to the UFC, signed a 3-fight deal, so he's going to get 3 major fights. You know that. But the first fight that they're giving him is the dream fight, Super Bowl fucking weekend. Fuck the Super Bowl, man. The Super Bowl better be fucking something great. Yeah, like they will need to break the rules for the Super Bowl and have Tom Brady versus Peyton Manning in the Super Bowl to fucking overcome this shit. I don't care who's in the Super Bowl. I'm not even excited for the Super Bowl that weekend because it's going to be Anderson Silva versus Nick Diaz. The return of Silva since a leg injury, that gruesome leg injury. Silva's back, baby. I back. Trust me, I back. Taking on Nick Diaz.
Dude, this is like Christmas, man.
It's Christmas and fucking July, man.
And they've already done like a Nick Diaz, not press conference, but they did like a telephone, basically where he just takes questions from media. And I think the best thing he said was, "What do you feel about this? Are you excited to be back in the spotlight, Nick?" He goes, "It's normal."
Yes.
See, man, like deep down, Nick Diaz, he still follows it. He still knows what's hot. Like this guy, he's so clever, man. And yeah, I think this is the biggest non-title fight in history.
Oh, this is the biggest non-title fight in UFC fucking history. Ever since Brock Lesnar has left that company, they have been looking for a fight that will get fans' interest. And you know what? Everyone's like GSP Anderson Silva. You know, Anderson Silva versus Jon Jones. Blah, blah, blah. But now we get, like, I'm sorry, man. I don't care that Silva's on a 2-fight lose streak. I don't care that Nick Diaz is on a 2-fight lose streak or whatever. I do not give a shit. The fact that you are giving us what we want is amazing to me. Like fuck all you guys are like, Silva should be coming back and fighting a better name. Well, Nick Diaz is a big fucking name. The fact that these two are going at it, how can you not be excited? If you are a fucking fan, you're not excited of this fight because these two are going to just stand up and brawl. There ain't going to be no takedowns. For all you guys that bitch about takedowns in MMA fights, this is the fight where you're not going to see one takedown being executed whatsoever. These two are just going to stand, put their hands down, taunt each other. Like, I don't care who wins. We're all winners in this fight.
Oh, yeah. And it'll be... I do expect Diaz to be very respectful and basically... just everything we know. Like, this fight is just simply for fans from styles, but man, how funny would it be if Nick Diaz goes, "Hit me, bitch. Hit me."
Yeah. Oh, he'll do that in the fight, man. He will do that. Like, that's the thing. This fight is huge, man. They've been looking for the hugest fight, and this is their huge fight. Like, this is just, God, like, fuck the Super Bowl, man. Like, Roger Goodell, you better find something for the Super Bowl. You better fucking rig the system to get, like, Andrew Luck versus Russell Wilson or something interesting there, because there's no way you're going to top this. Like, you know what, Roger Goodell, if you're smart, you want the Super Bowl to get ratings, halftime show. Anderson the Spider Silva versus Nick fucking Diaz. Screw your Katy Perry. Screw your One Direction. Screw your Pharrell Williams, because I know that cunt's going to get the Super Bowl fucking halftime. Oh, fuck yeah. If I have to hear happy one more time, I'm going to punch someone in the fucking face. But, damn it, screw your musical concerts. Get fucking that fight. NBC, find a way. Tell Fox, hey, we will give you money. Give us Anderson Silva, Nick Diaz. Pay $100 million to get this fight, because that you want your fans to be entertained at halftime. This is the fight. This is better.
If that happened, they fought at halftime. God, I mean, but that would be like when Mick Foley and The Rock fought. Remember they had that match?
Halftime heat. Yeah, the Super Bowl halftime heat. Empty arena match. No, like I said this year for the Fox Super Bowl, because who the fuck did they have? Like, do you even remember who Fox had? Or
like Bruno Mars.
Was it Bruno Mars? Yeah, it was. No, did Fox host the Super Bowl this year?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, they had Bruno Mars. It's like, look, Fox, you're partner with the UFC. Get a big UFC fight as your fucking halftime show.
He's sick, man. But I think UFC will do their own thing. But who knows? The fact is, man, it's rare that a main event doesn't need a title fight. That'll be pretty cool. And just these two styles, man. It's gonna be unreal. Gotta hope Anderson gets through the camp. That's all. That's the only big concern. I assume Nick Diaz will pass the drug test. I don't think he's that stupid. Nick Diaz, I think he could put the pot.
I know. This is literally the negotiations. This was Dana White during the negotiations. All right, Nick, see that money on the contract? That's only 6 figures. But the money under the table that fans don't know about, you're making 7 figures for this fight with Silva. So don't fuck up. And Nick Diaz is like, all right, homie, sweet. And then Anderson Silva's like, Dana, do I get money? Anderson, here's 7 figures, and just because we love you, we will give you an extra 7 figures. All right, Dana, rich. And so, fucking, that's the thing. Like, these guys are being paid 7 figures to fight. Like, you know, they're gonna release only 6 figures. Like, Silva will only get paid like what, 800,000. Diaz like 300,000 or something like that. But underneath the table, where the UFC doesn't show that money, they're getting paid 7 fucking figures to do this fight. And if you guys don't know what 7 figures is, that's $1 million.
Wow, I just read that Jeff Wagenheim, one of the few respected writers from Sports Illustrated. We know the whole shit that happened in Sports Illustrated during the Weidman Silva, you know, that little fiasco. But basically, he just did a joint Q&A with Jones and Cormier, and he stood between them. And yeah, things actually went okay. But that just gonna be crazy. Look, it's been a fun year of fights. Like, look, obviously, the injuries have derailed the UFC for the first part of the year, you know, we're looking at it. But this still been through some exciting fights. But man, this from like September till like January, good God, it's gonna be really fun.
See, the thing with the UFC, they always do is always like this. Beginning of the year, they'll have like 1 or 2 fights where it's like, okay, I'm interested in saying that, but they waste those fights in like February and January, and then like mostly like from February to like May, it's like dead. It's like, who cares? Like, okay, one big title fight. Oh, the guy got injured. We got to replace the fight or something like that. Oh, the fight got pushed back to June or July card. And then, like, summertime, always hot for the UFC. Always a good time for the UFC. And then the fall time, they always put on some of the underrated shows, but it's just like people don't get interested during the fall time. But they always do good, you know, business during the fall. It's always just the beginning of the year for the UFC. They always have, like, slow fucking starts.
Yeah, which is kind of unfortunate, but
it is what it is. But like, seriously, like I said, Anderson Silva, Nick Diaz, like Nick Diaz has a chance of winning this fight. It's not like Silva's indestructible anymore. And Silva, no, I don't care what anyone says, dude's still a fucking legend. Like, fuck off. If he loses fight to Nick Diaz, I don't care, because like I love Silva to death. But if he loses, it's not a big deal. This guy's a fucking legend. You can't take away everything he did for the UFC and everything he did for the middleweight division. You can't take that shit away. And same with Nick Diaz. You know, Nick Diaz, sure, record and accomplishments-wise, he's not the most successful fighter in the world, but the dude has been the most entertaining fighter. Like, I don't know how many like non-UFC fans that I know say, "Don't be scared, homie." Like, they quote Nick Diaz. Nick Diaz is the most quotable guy in MMA history. This guy has some of the best sound bites in MMA history. Like, no one cared about, you know, the GSP Nick Diaz fighting. They just wanted to hear what the fuck Nick Diaz was going to say. So,
yeah, wolf tickets,
yeah,
and middle fingers, and you know, hit me, bitch, or come on, hit me. I'll never forget that Joe Rogan always talks about when Nick Diaz fought Robbie Lawler back in the day, like 2004. He kept telling Robbie Lawler, "Hit me, bitch, hit me." and eventually he caught Robbie on a counter and just Nick Diaz, he doesn't back down, and
Yeah.
To this day, man, I don't know what will top it, but the greatest around MMA history will always be to me.
Oh yeah.
Diaz
Diaz and Daly. Yes, that is. I watched that fight at least like 4 times a year, and it's only one round, but it's a fucking great round.
Dude, it's just the mayhem that happened. Just like people getting knocked down. The craziest when everyone thought, oh, Nick Diaz is gonna go on his back because we know Paul Daly isn't very good on the ground. But Diaz like, screw it, I'm brawling with this guy. I don't give a shit, and he just somehow pulled it off. I couldn't believe it. And I'll never forget, Daly went for that wild kick. I thought it was gonna hit Diaz in the head.
I always remember like near the end of the fight where Diaz separates and catches Daly with like a short jab, and then Daly like it looks like he's fine, and then he does like the nastiest stinky leg I've ever seen and falls to the ground. I was freaking out on that shit. I was like, oh my god, like that fight is just go watch that fight. It's on YouTube. Just type in Diaz versus Daly Strikeforce. It's on fucking YouTube. If you can't find that fight, you shame yourself. If you haven't seen that fight, shame on you, because this is what I'm talking about. This is why Nick Diaz and Anderson Silva will be a great fight. Just watch that fight and you'll say, you know what, Chase and Allen, they told us this would be great. February comes around, and back when we're doing this recap podcast for the most epic UFC event of all time, you guys are going to be saying, you know what, Chase and Allen, thank you for telling us how awesome Nick Diaz versus Anderson Silva is. Enough with you little marks, and you're like, he doesn't deserve a fight like this. Screw off. This is a fight for the fans.
Exactly. That's the way.
And the funny thing is, this fight, like, in all honesty, has been one of the longest running jokes when it comes down to just MMA history, because it's like, could you imagine, like you know, ever since, remember when Silva first lost to Weidman, I think like everyone was saying like, oh, he should come back to fight Nick Diaz, and then all of a sudden that just became a long running joke of Silva and Diaz press conferences, and like just imagine how terrible those scenes would be or how funny they would be, you know, like this fight has just been like started as a joke and now it's reality. Like that's the best part.
Exactly, man. That's a perfect way to end it, and we got a long way to go, but oh man, this is gonna be pretty nuts. But I think Cormier and Jones are gonna be on Fox Sports later tonight, so they're really going on with this. ESPN has the Brawl on its main page, so it's cool to see mainstream websites pick up on stuff, and
especially,
you know, Diaz is so they're gonna cover it. But anyway, I know you got to cover Raw, so I wanted to hear, and we'll. I guess next week, because I know we have some cards coming up. We'll preview.
Oh yeah, we got a shit ton of cards. We got Benson Henderson versus Dos Anjos. We got I believe there was another card, Bader versus St. Preux to cover, and we also got
Bisping.
Yeah, Kunle and Bisping. That was drawing a blank on me for a little bit, and we also got the big 2 title fight card, bantamweight and featherweight titles both on the line. Barao versus Dillashaw 2. And the Sleep Train Arena, apparently the loudest arena in the world. So,
yeah, I'm not really feeling that card, but whatever.
Thanks, Kings fans. But
gotta do.
Oh yeah, and before we end this off, this is MMA related, but Andrew Wiggins to Minnesota. So thank you all for listening to the MMA podcast. You guys have been awesome. Comment down below what you guys think about all the subjects we talk about. And remember, Anderson and Nick Diaz, the countdown begins. This is going to be awesome. See you all next time.